What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kiwan. I am back with Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all. Season 10, episode 14, Nail in a Handbasket. Before I start, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video. Make sure y'all like the video so I can stay in the algorithm. All right. So we've been kind of gone. They've been kind of gone for a little minute, but now, we back on track. I did not do the last episode, which was the Christmas episode where they were playing games. I didn't want to review that. I felt like, I don't know, I just kind of, I am in a space where I'm waiting for this to actually end in its entirety. This episode was okay though. It wasn't bad, with the whole back and forward, but now I just feel like I need more, more. And if they're not, how much can we get? It's been 10 seasons, Anyway, so y'all, we back and forth. We're back with the foolishness of Love and Marriage Huntsville, okay? So the episode starts with the Fletchers. Nell talks to Fletch about the dinner situation with him, and the kids. And she was saying basically Fletch sits there and does nothing when it comes to the kids. Fletch lets her know, I'm listening to you. But Nell, he was like, what do you want me to do? Smack the piss out of him. So Nell basically was like, yeah, let me know that you on my side and on my team, but I really, really need Nell to really control her emotions. And Nell also have a choice. Like, you choose to tire yourself with your kids. And this is the biggest issue. And Chris doesn't. And you're mad at him because he's not tiring himself out like you, or handling things in a way you handle things. And I just think it's very chaotic. I think when it comes to Nell and her family, I think it's a lot of chaos that Nell brings upon herself. Yeah, that's what I think. That's just what I think. So Fletch, she tells Fletch that, you said nothing when I got mad and I cried. And again, he apologized. And he said he won't do it again. And next time he's going to say something. But of course, when Fletch says something, it's going to be monotone. It's not going to be like loud how Nell wants him to say it. And that is what she wants him to do. She wants him to get into a screaming match. And Fletch just not with that. And Nell, you have to be okay with that. And you need to bring it down. Like, you need to bring down your energy and your aura. And you need to probably step back from your kids and whatever the hell they got going on. Like, if they're in some type of trouble, let them. Like, they created their own mess. Let them clean up their own mess. You're not always, having to be their cleanup person. Anyway, we get to Kimmy, Destiny, and Tisha. Destiny tells them, she talked with Chris and Martell, and that Fletch told her that everybody ganged up on Nell. Y'all know, at the Fletchtivities event. Tisha said Nell came with the energy that Nell came with the energy when it was just simply holding Nell accountable. And y'all did gang up on Nell. I'm sorry. There is something about accountability, but then there's another thing when you two, the Scotts, you do it all the time. Y'all gang up on people. Y'all always done that. And I honestly, I don't like it. But whatever. If they call it accountability, that's what we're going to call it. Accountability. We're not going to argue. We're not going to fuss. And we're not going to fight about it. Okay? I will say this. Initially, when Kimmy went to talk to Nell told her specifically, I don't want to talk. So you calling me to come talk about something that's pointless. We've had this conversation. It didn't get anywhere. Y'all still want us to rehash it. That is a problem. So yeah, I'm going to get aggravated, busted, and disgusted. But again, Nell was not yelling. I hate when I have to put that in a sentence. But Nell was not yelling when she was around her kids. That was her yelling. She was, just simply talking. Anyway, Destiny tells them they don't know Nell the way she knows Nell, and Tisha wants them to be cool with Nell. And Destiny also wants to take the girls on a winery trip. So Tisha pretty much don't want to go on a trip. She says she don't like Nell. That's where it starts, and this is where it stops. But with Tisha, yeah. Anyway, Destiny let them know that she went on a date with Will. She also handed them baskets, and she let them know bring the baskets to the winery event, put some important things in there, and let us know why was it important to you, kind of like a show and tell, which they did that on Ready to Love. I just wanted to say that I saw them do that on Ready to Love, but the idea was good. Tisha, again, I feel like because she started complaining about, I guess, Nell being on the trip. She don't like Nell, blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of feel like if it's that bad, then you should stay home or just simply get off the show. Like, I feel like Tisha is the most bothered person on this cast. She has always shown up in this manner, and that is just who she is. Anyway, we get to Nell and Destiny. Destiny tells Nell that Fletch said, Nell bringing up that she felt ganged up on. Nell tells Destiny that, I have communication issues. She said, right now my family is exhausting, and by the time she come around the ladies, she's absolutely exhausted from dealing with whatever issues she have with her family, the business. I know she said she wanted to start her own, open up a boutique or whatever. So all of the things is just kind of taking a toll on her. I feel like Nell is, again, I'm just going to reiterate that Nell is kind of a part of the issue as it relates to her family. Another thing, Destiny is basically the bone carrier, and that's how a lot of shit got started. Like, Destiny, you told Nell what Tisha said, or you telling them what Nell said. Like, you're bringing a bone back to each lady, and then you want to have the audacity to say, well, don't put me in the middle. Destiny, you're putting yourself in the middle and trying to slide your way out of the middle, and that's not how that works. If you want them to get along, stop bringing bones. Like, it's just as simple as that. We can all be in the same circle, but you don't have to tell me what she said. You can correct it right there, and vice versa. Problem solved. Anyway, Destiny gives Nell a Bible because she felt like Nell is a prophetic woman. She tells Nell that the ladies haven't seen this side of her. Nell said her real self is there, but it isn't there for the other ladies. Nell won't allow them to get close to her because it's been so much mess and turmoil and all of it. It's been like this for a long time. And for some reason, I just still kind of think there's this hesitation on their end because they know initially that Nell was cool with Mel. I don't know, maybe, and I could be wrong. I really could be wrong, but I'm just saying. So we get to the winery trip. Well, the ladies are on their way to the winery trip. And Trisha is in a car with Nell, Destiny, Kimmy, and Tisha are in the other car. Destiny says she wanted to split the two because of the tension that the ladies are having. So Trisha tells Nell that she wasn't trying to be peaceful at the Fletchtivities. And I'm just like, Trisha, you kind of go wherever the wind blows. I also feel like Nell really was not yelling, but I feel like Nell was just really like explaining herself or standing up for herself or whatever. I just it makes me kind of feel like y'all want somebody to just say stuff and take it. Like, you get to say whatever you want and I just have to stand here and take it. I don't have to have no emotion or anything like that. And even if they're not yelling, which they don't do, the Scots 1.0 and 2.0, no, they don't yell, but they are still antagonistic, and they try to use a calm tone voice and say, oh, I'm not yelling, so thus and such, I'm not, I'm not starting anything, or I'm not trying to be messy, or I'm not, for me, I feel like y'all can kind of cancel that. Y'all really was being antagonistic, except y'all know how to use y'all tone just a little lower, than Nell. So anyway, Destiny tells the ladies that she talked with Nell, and Tisha asks Destiny, just again, this whole thing started because of Tisha. But whatever, everything was all, was put out there. I'm talking about everything that happened on this episode. The ladies got their feelings out. That's just where we at. So Tisha asks Destiny, does Nell feel like she owe her an apology? Why does Nell owe you an apology? You said you didn't like Nell on this episode. The last few episodes, you called Nell a victim. You told her she was loud. When, this whole situation, it's just spilled over, and I feel like it's all overboard and it's useless, and we're constantly talking about the same thing. So anyway, Destiny and Tisha are going back and forward. Destiny says she's not in the middle, so don't put her in the middle. But like Tisha said, you insert yourself all the time. So you going back telling Nell what Destiny or Kimmy may have said, or what Trisha may have said, or Trisha going back to the Scots telling them what Nell has said. It's messy. It's all messy. You can try to act like don't throw the rock and hide your hand. You can try to act like you're not in the middle, but you are always in the middle. So I'm sorry, I can't stick up for Destiny on that note. Anyway, Destiny wants to pull over. So Kimmy and and Tisha feels away. Well, the tension in a car was getting too much. So they pull over. She gets in a car with Nell, and Trisha comes over. Now here is another moment where Tisha again looks for a moment. Both windows are down. And as soon as Trisha gets in the car, Tisha, you can hear her voice. She was like, yay, you coming down the fun side. Like, again, such a childlike mentality. Such childlike. She throw these tantrums. She do all of these things with the women in her circle. With the women in her circle. She has always shown up like that. Childlike. That's why everybody treats her that way. You are an adult, but you have these tantrums. You have these behaviors that just come off very whiny like. So anyway, Destiny is telling Nell about the dinner she had with Twan. And once again, Destiny, why are you talking to Nell about your conversations with Twan? All Nell gonna do is go and tell her family and talk about you like you some type of hoe on the street. And that's the one thing I will stand with Tisha with. Nell always running her. She just always running her mouth, especially when it comes to Destiny. You want to say, oh, Destiny is your friend, but then when you're around everybody else, Twan or what's her son's name, the little light bright, you want to talk about this lady like she a hoe. Like, I don't like it. Anyway, Tisha and Kimmy, everybody's at the table. All right, the winery man is there, and then the ladies sit, have their little picnic, and they eat. And so Destiny was like, well, what did y'all talk about in the van when I was in the other van? And Tisha was telling Kimmy don't explain anything to her. She didn't tell us what she said in her van. So we're not going to talk about, we're not going to tell her what we talked about over here. And so we did get to the section about, we get to the basket, the whole basket piece. Okay. So Destiny started, she talked about, I think she had a picture of Law, and she said before him she had 5 miscarriages, and I totally forgot about that. And she said when he was 2 months old, he was in a hospital fighting for his life. So she had his hospital gown from that time he was in the hospital when he was 2 months old. She got really emotional. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. So Trisha says she loved lifting her family's weight, and I was just like, wow, girl, this is why you are the way you are. You can't carry nobody's weight but your own. And truth be told, the weight that we carry, we are often told we have to give that weight to God, and we have to. But again, she was like, this is why she lifts weights. And it's like, you say you lift weights, you work out to brush off steam. A lot of that is lifting the weight of your family. Now, I don't know if you meant lifting it and removing it from you, or carrying their weight, as in, I'm a strong woman, so I'm going to carry their weight. Trisha, this is what they say. At some point, carrying all of that heavy load, all of the load is gonna fall down on you, and you're either gonna fall, or the weight that you're carrying is gonna fall out of your hands. It's not for us to carry. I'm sorry, y'all. It is not for us to carry. If anything, you want to give that to God. That is in the word. It said, place all of your burdens upon him. I'm just saying. Anyway, Kimmy talks about Jalen, and she shows them a candle, and she said, I didn't know does Kimmy like sell candles, or did she make the candle? I don't know. But, Kimmy shows them her candles. I actually thought that she would talk about, something about her breast cancer, or, just something about that and Jalen. But I guess not. Anyway, Nell said she didn't bring anything. She said she didn't know what to put in the basket, or if she wanted to add anything to her basket, right? So Destiny felt like Nell not putting anything in the basket was a disappointment. She also felt like Nell should have put in more effort. And for me, I feel like if I'm around people that do not like me, or don't really see it for me, or every time we're in each other's space, it's always some BS. You want me to tell them the most sacred and important things in my life? Yeah, no, I don't think so. That's not going to happen. And I felt like Nell should have been respected. If Destiny wanted to, because she wanted this to be thoughtful. And I just feel like we're not about to fake this. I'm not, and I wasn't mad at Nell for it. I mean, everybody can say, oh, she should have participated, but why? Why? This is similar to something that something that I know. Not my story, but it's just similar to something that I know. I am not finna sit and deal with people who just don't see it for me, or we just not jiving like that. I'm sorry. And personally, if I'm not comfortable with you, I'm not even going to talk. I'm not going to talk to you. However, I will be just a little cordial if need be. But for the most part, I'm over here somewhere. Like, I'm not sharing anything that's very personal. Yeah, no. So Kimmy asks, why didn't she want to put anything in the basket? Again, Nell just didn't feel like she needed to share. But anyway, we get to Tisha's basket. Tisha decided to be extra in her voice. It's already high pitched, and I have noticed she has done this over the years when she's around somebody that she's in conflict with, and she's also around her people. She gets her behavior becomes very extra. Her behavior becomes very loud and obnoxious a little bit. And even how she tries to make herself talk, even though she and this is no shade, she have a speech impediment, so some of the words she say, it is always kind of a little choppy, if that makes sense. But she puts on this act, and a lot of people do it. A lot of people do it when they want to show out in front of their peers. I find it rather childish. I really do. In the words I want to say, I'm not going to say it, but I just find it rather childish. And instead of you saying how you feel to said person, you rather act out. Again, being obnoxious. Like extra. Like doing things that are extra. Talking loudly. Putting a extra stank on your voice. Being passive aggressive often. Like it comes out in different ways. But this is what Tisha does. So she was like, I put a golden egg in my basket because I have a heart of gold. She put up a little friend's a word that says friends. It looked like a keychain or whatever. She said she value her relationships with her friends because she don't have any sisters. She said that's when her friend, she said, so when her friends hurt her and turn on her, it hurts her bad because she loves hard. Again, this is her talking indirectly to Nell. Then her other thing was a snake. So she hold out the snake and she said, once you bite me one time, it's a wrap for me. I said, okay. She just took this moment to take a stab at Nell. Also, I wanted to point this out. When Nell didn't want to share, Tisha said in her confessional that we're trying to be more transparent. In her confessional, she said because they wanted to learn more about each other. But Tisha, you just said a moment ago, and you're gonna say it again, that you don't like Nell. So why is it important for you to know her likes or her dislikes or anything that's important to her? If you don't like me, you shouldn't want to know anything about me. I'm just saying, like. Also, Nell did say they pick and choose, what everybody wants to deal with and all of things. Everybody have a pick and choose or whatever. So anyway, Kimmy tells Nell, she asked Nell, she was like, I want to know, she said that she wanted to get to know Nell better. As Nell is telling them, hey, I got a lot going on, because Kimmy did ask her, why didn't you want to share? And so Nell was like, I have a lot going on, and, between my family and all of the things that's happening personally behind the scenes, I'm not that close to you guys to want to share anything deep. And I wasn't mad at Nell for that, because again, if I don't know you, if I don't really know you like that, but most importantly, if our relationship has been based and surrounded by drama, trauma, arguments, petty arguments on both parts. This is not one-sided, y'all. On both parts, no, I don't want to share my most interpersonal details with you or anybody else. Like, I had to really learn that the hard way, y'all, because I used to share everything with everybody, and now you can barely get anything out. Except for when you're in my core, if we're in my core group of people, and that's it. I feel like outside of my core group of people, y'all know probably what I have going on more than anybody. I just don't fool with people like that. So anyway, Tisha said in her confessional, Nell needs to learn how to communicate a lot better, especially a woman her age. I agree. I do think Nell needs to learn how to communicate a lot. But I will say this. Both times we seen Nell with the both at the festivities and over here at the winery event, Nell didn't come out of her bag. But I felt like Nell could have. She stood up for herself. Like, if you're gonna say something, I'm gonna say something too. So yeah, I just don't understand what Tisha is wanting, especially if you're saying you don't like Nell. Again, I feel like Tisha has made it very clear, and I do feel like anything that Nell talk about moving forward, it shouldn't be about them anymore. Don't say anything to anybody, so nobody can't go back and say, I said this, I did that, she did this, she said that, whatnot. Please, like, I feel like Tisha made it very clear. I can't even get mad at how she said it, but I also feel like she made it very clear. Now, as far as Nell communication, I feel like with her family, she needs to learn how to communicate a whole lot better. But if I'm around y'all and y'all decide y'all want to get on my nerves, I'm gonna back y'all up off of me. So you don't get to say nothing to me and get mad at the way I respond. That's all I'm saying. Like, we're not doing that. Now, she did not, again, she was calm. All right. So Tisha says to Destiny, she did a great job. You get an A for effort. She said, but she don't know if I can move forward since everyone is supposed to be transparent. I'm so sick of that word. It was another word I kept hearing. Energy, transparent. This show overutilized these words. I'm over it. Anyway, she said, Tisha then says how it is not okay when someone in a group goes back and talk about another person to the other ladies in the group, and it gets back to the person they are talking about but can't say it to their face. That's my problem with the ladies in the group. Well, one lady in particular. So we know she was talking about Nell. She also said that to Nell, if you have something to say about my marriage, my husband, don't tell anybody else in that group, but tell me, which I feel like was valid. Nell just looked at her and said, I said what I needed to say. And Nell tells Tisha, we spoke already about all of this at the coffee shop. Like, we had the conversation. I thought that's where it was going to stop and where it was going to end. But again, none of this wouldn't be happening had Destiny not told Nell that Tisha told her that the reason the Fletchers and homeboy left was because he was having a baby. Again, this kind of lies on the back of Destiny, so Destiny takes some responsibility as far as I'm concerned. So Tisha said it seemed like Nell wanted to have an issue with her, and I'm like, when? The lady said, I said all I needed to say. So what issues are you having with Nell? Like, again, help me understand. Help me help you. All right. Nell says to her, listen, that's not true. Tisha, I felt like she was just talking in circles. Basically, she don't want Nell talking about her. All right. At the end of the day, both ladies, again, are stemming from past messages between Trish and between Destiny. And I do feel like any little thing they hear, they're definitely going to throw the ladies under the bus. So if you don't go to that person at this point, stop saying anything. Go, if you have something about that person, go directly to that person. I would be mad if I'm Tisha and I'm, and you have an issue with me, but you're telling all of these other people. But again, these are past messages after the coffee shop. Destiny brought her messy ass in and kept going back and forth like a paddle ball, spreading all of the mess. Telling this person this, and then going back and telling this person what they said. Because I remember while the conversation was going on, Tisha was like, Destiny, tell her what you said, and Destiny kept doing this. So yeah, it make it look like Nell was messy, but we have to start with the people, the party who was responsible. And I also feel like they don't want Nell on there because Nell is older and all of the things, and Tisha just want to be, I don't know, Tisha just, I don't know, I'm just over, I just need these people to do better. Like, y'all been on this show for however long, and y'all still tripping and acting doggone crazy. Like, like, I don't understand. What's the problem? Like, it doesn't always have to be mess. Even a Carlos King production don't always have to result in mess. And these ladies need better trips. Like, these trips been trash. Yeah. But he always, like, want to talk to housewife women, or all of these women are calling them the housewives of 2025, and but you don't, it's like you have nothing for none of your ladies. This is just me venting. Between Bell Collective, Love and Marriage Huntsville, what's the show, the Houston show with the realtor family, I feel like once Love and Marriage Huntsville took off, he started having all of these other shows, and then he just let all of them fall by the wayside. Love and Marriage Huntsville has ran its course. Yeah, it's ran its course, y'all. I don't know, because how much arguing can a person do? And I just feel like now we just need to turn this around and just have the ladies get along to go along, and this show need to go off, and we need to put Bell Collective in the front, and he needs to come up with some other shows and leave Bravo over at Bravo and boost up your own fan base, boost up your own people. Like, I don't know, you have all of these friendships with all of these housewife women and everybody else, but when it comes to your show, I just feel like you don't care. I don't feel like he cared. I don't feel like he put enough emphasis into it. And yeah, I feel like this is just hobbies, because the real thing, I really do feel like this man want to be back on Bravo. He really want to continue working for Bravo, working for these women. And the other Love and Marriage Huntsville entities and all of the things. I just feel like Carlos can do a lot better with the shows that he have in front of him, which I feel like could be real gold mines, not just Love and Marriage Huntsville. Love and Marriage Huntsville has run its course. And the one thing you can do, because you've tried other cities, it's not working. So even just removing those people that's been on here for their tenure or whatever, you can remove them and bring new people. It's still not gonna matter anymore. But it's time. Anyway, y'all, this is your girl Kiwan, reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.